Good evening and welcome to Delight and Fright. I am Kat and the lovely Luna is right above me. Give him a pageant wave, Luna. And we have a very special guest with us today, the extremely talented producer, director, writer, Nigel David in the house.
Hey everyone, how's it going? How you guys
Woo!
doing? How you doing, Kat? How you doing, Luna? You guys doing good tonight?
Yeah, we're doing great. It's so awesome to see you. And we're
Oh,
definitely looking forward to talking about the Midnight Owls and everything else that you're doing, Nigel.
oh
So
well,
then,
thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Been a big fan of the show. Loved it. I'm very honored to be on there. Very, very
yeah,
honored. So thank you very, very much.
perfect. So before we get started, I'd love to show you guys the trailer for the Midnight Owls that we will be discussing now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Patient shows signs of antisocial personality disorder, bordering on psychopathy.
This is Samantha Grimes with K-Face News. This just aired. The funeral for Miriam Knox, twin sister to the famed psychiatrist Dr. Meredith Knox, will take place today on the North Side Chicago. Police say she is the fourth victim of the serial killer only known as Sinister Sam. More on this at the top of the hour.
Happy highway to fuck you town!
K-Face News.
This is your opportunity to set the record straight.
Man, Holland!
Right,
Ooh.
right. I know that guy that wrote and did that. I know that guy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Oh
So
my
what,
we were
god.
good friends. Really good friends.
one of your personalities? Uh-oh.
One of many.
One of many. Oh.
I lost track.
So I'm curious about the title, Nigel. Why the Midnight Owls? I mean, I'm a big owl fan, so anything with
Yeah.
the word owl, I'm like, ooh.
Well, so it's a kind of a homage to a couple different things. Midnight, obviously, the witching hour. It's midnight. It's my favorite time of the night. And owls. I'm a huge David Lynch fan, and the owls are not what they seem. So I try to pay homage a little bit to David Lynch and Twin Peaks, referring to owls, and it was something that my mother had, referred to when I was a child. There was, the mother is based basically in the movies based on my mother, and so she had like kind of a fascination. She would say a lot of weird things, and that was one of the things she said, and it was kind of stuck into me. So just just basically put it out there, and I just thought it would fit for the atmosphere and for what it is.
Okay, that sounds so
A lot of
cool.
trauma, a lot of trauma to that.
I can
Yeah.
definitely tell it bleeds in your work, literally, but in a beautiful and awesome format. We loved the lighting. We loved a lot of things about this film. How about you, Luna?
Yes, I loved it. There's a particular camera angle that I do want to discuss with you. Thank you so much for the raid, Raven Wisher. We do appreciate it. I do appreciate that raid and sending people over to our channel. So thanks so much for
Welcome.
the raid. Welcome,
Yes,
guys. Welcome in.
right
Have a
away.
seat. Grab a beer. It's about to get traumatic. So
Right, yeah.
hopefully not too
Talking some
much.
We're talking some PTSD right here. Keep
Yeah,
us on, right?
yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
what is up with the camera angle? We see it on the trailer. We also see it in the movie. but you can see a bunch of boxes and it's like tunneled and like it's like kind of looks like it's almost spinning, like very mesmerizing. How did you capture that, or was it post effects, or did you do that during filming?
I, it was a scene that was filmed like regularly, and then I did like some stuff in the post and everything. But I'm a firm believer. What I film is very dreamlike. I'm very much into the dreams. So I like to, we never dream straightforward. So our dream world is always going to be just off kilter. It's going to be, some people are not going to talk just right. People are not going to look just right. So I want to, I wanted to create this dreamlike atmosphere for, basically for this movie, because this is kind of what he's going through.
And is that why things are very out of, at least they seem out of order? Because like in a dream, you don't always dream, from beginning to end. You can kind of jump around a little bit as well.
Exactly, and that's what it is. I mean, that is basically, it's a fantasy slash dream for that Sinister Sam is having, and so there's reality into it. And if you listen to the radio broadcast, it tells a story. But yeah, it definitely wanted to create an atmosphere surrounding this character, because I believe that this character being very emotionally charged and very sad and very depressed. So what he's going to dream, he's going to dream nightmares. So this is what he's going through, and this kind of leads up, and it just kind of feeds into what happens in the movie.
And I love all the different contacts that you had the actor wearing. Did any of those have any issues? Were they comfortable for him?
So honestly, I would have to say this is my second movie, and this one went smooth. This one, I mean, for whatever reason, everything just fell into place. From beginning to end, from meeting Brian to meeting Nora to putting together, because I had this production company, Nigel David production company, and I was working with somebody, and I kind of split off from that, so I was kind of starting all over again. And so I had no team. I didn't have anything. I was just by myself. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I want to make this movie. And basically, Sin Sam is actually based on an album I wrote like 12 years ago. And so this character has actually been in my head like 12 years. So I actually wrote a whole musical album. I'm a musician, so I recorded a bunch of songs. And it kind of basically was based off of some of it too. But as far as filming went, I couldn't have asked for a better time. And the people that I met, my team that I have now, just shout out to Rob, to Adam, to Lucinda, Nora, Brian, Paige Marie, who's my daughter, and just amazing crew. And they just came together, worked with me, and saw my vision, and just said yes. And that's what I like to say. It's just yes. Let's do this. Whatever it is, let's do it. So yeah, there was really no flaws, no gas, nothing. Everything worked out. It's like,
It was meant to be.
Yeah, knock on wood. Now the next production was going to be total nightmare, right?
How many days did you shoot?
I thought it was probably, because it was shot in different days. The bulk of it was shot in 2 days over a weekend. And then basically just kind of all the other pieces just were shot here and there. Like the first shot of Miriam Knox, that was the first shot we did. So it was still early fall, and that's why she's wearing a coat and everything. And that was a place in Chicago that I have passed a million times over, and it's actually the side of a Walgreens. And I just passed it, and I'm like, kept looking at this thing. I'm like, something's drawn me to this. And sure enough, and again, the way everything rolls with meeting Brian and Nora, like the night I met Nora is the night we shot her, because she plays twins in this movie. So the first night I met her was the first night we shot her first death scene. That was just like, hey, how you doing? I'm Nora. I'm your actress. Okay, great. Action. let's go. And it was
Jump right
amazing.
in.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Awesome.
So, have you done music videos before for your band?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely. I've done a bunch
nice.
of music videos for a bunch of people. I'm a professional photographer. So I got like some CDs out there with my photographs on it, some features. Like I said, I did a YouTube show for a long time. So yeah, I'm pretty well known, and I actually Nigel David Productions on YouTube. There's my plug. Nigel David Productions. I have a bunch of stuff on there, all relating to Midnight Owls. My first movie, Visible Lies, which if you think this movie was like trippy and pretty wild, go back and watch Visible Lies. It's 44 minutes and 37 seconds of pure madness. And I wrote it for 44 minutes, 37 seconds, because Dark Side of the Moon is actually what, 44 and 39 seconds, 44 minutes, 39 seconds, the full Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Know the Wizard of Oz thing. So you
Uh-huh.
put on Wizard of Oz. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to write this movie, that's my first movie, Visible Lies, in that frame. So I wrote and literally chopped it right at that moment. So if you got tired of listening to, because I actually had to star in that one, and you can actually turn down the music. I mean, turn down the volume and literally put on Dark Side of the Moon, and it will go from front to back to Dark Side of the Moon, and the movie is literally coincides with the whole album, just because I love Pink
Awesome.
Floyd, and I'm like, let's do this, you know.
Right. Nigel, I have a question for you. Going back a little bit to the context and the makeup. As a director, I saw a lot of different and interesting makeup and wardrobes. Did
Mhm.
you allow each actor to portray their character accordingly, or did you give direction to them as to what to wear, what kind of makeup to do, or did you kind of leave it to them to create their character?
So again, as a director, I'm not playing the. I wrote these characters and I wrote their dialogue. And what I did is I presented it to them, and I was like, "Look, Brian, you are Sinister Sam. Make it yourself. Make it your own. Make it, because I wanted to be believable." And the same thing with Nora. I told Nora, I was like, "Hey, you know, whenever you come in, because she's actually a screenwriter, she's actually an editor, so she actually does all kinds of stuff on the side, and for Nigel David Productions, and they learned their lines and they took it and they rehearsed because they're best friends. And it's literally how I met Nora, was through Brian. They're best friends, and so they practiced together. And he was actually reading lines with her at the time, and I was like trying to figure out what I was going to do with this character. And I was like, okay, this is going to be the one-off character, Miriam Knox. Do you know somebody? And he's like, yeah, I got Nora, And I'm like, okay, great. So and then again, we met on the night we shot. And I just basically told her, and she knew the lines, and she was like, make it your own, because you are these characters, and you will be these characters through 3 movies. We're doing a trilogy out of this. And the script I've been writing now, I've sent it off to them, and they're like, and they know, and Brian came up with the makeup and the eyes, and I think I had the idea for the pipe at the one point with the thing, but he had his glasses. Those are his, his sweater and stuff that he came up with. He's like, this is what I want to look like. And again, if you see Brian, and it's a great story. How I met him is that I literally had hired somebody else to play Sinister Sam. And I went to, because I live in Chicago, in Logan Square Music Box, they always have these really cool little horror meetups and stuff like that. So they had a horror meetup, and it was amazing because, again, David Lynch references with the red velvet curtains. I spread these red curtains, and I walked through into this room of horror fanatics, it's a horror, meetup. And I saw him from back here. I looked at my eye and saw this. Oh, okay, no big deal, whatever, And literally, so I started networking, I started talking, I just happened to look back and I saw the side of his face. I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting. And I'm networking, doing my thing. And I look back and I finally see his full face. And I was like, right there, that's Sinister Sam. Done. I literally picked up my phone, and text the guy, I'm sorry, dude, you're fired. And before I even talked to Brian, before I even talked to him, I was like, this is him. Just the way he looked at that horror convention, because he had the piercings and everything. And I walked over to him, I introduced myself, and I was like, hey, I'm making a movie. Would you like to play the serial killer in it? And he's like, well, I got nothing better to do. Let's do it.
Nice,
and
nice.
and from that point on, he became Sinister Sam.
And he does the part amazingly. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of compliments on his acting as far as what he portrays. And believe me, he's terrifying without even trying. He scares the heck out of me.
Has he ever done any acting before, or was this his first?
That's it. It's his first.
Wow.
This was his first. And like I said, he's always wanted to do this kind of things because he's a musician too, and he's always wanted to act, but he's never had the opportunity. And here I am, fate, guiding me, and again going through red velvet curtains, and boom, there he is. And then through him, I meet Nora, who becomes Miriam and Meredith Knox in the movie. So it's like I couldn't have asked for anything better. Right off the bat. And then I meet Adam, and I met Rob, who's the editor, and I met all these people, and I pulled them all together, and the team just came together like Justice League style. Like, I mean, it was just like all hands, and it worked out perfect.
Did you always plan on them being twins?
No, absolutely not. It's funny because that changed and the ending changed. So originally, he was going to play the one-off. She gets killed, victim, done. And so I had written the other character, and I was like, man, I loved her performance. I loved what she did. I loved her enthusiasm. I loved what she wanted to do and bring to the character. And I was like, you know what? Twins. And so again, it also gives Sinister Sam, more reason to go after because she's, the sister, Miriam Knox is just being a mother, the normal person, and Meredith Knox is a, famed psychologist. How these celebrity psychologists and stuff that, they roam around the TV, telling us how we should think and everything. So I was like, and it worked out perfect. And I wrote it in like a night just because off of, what she was able to bring to that character and the enthusiasm she had for the character. I was like, why would I not, use her and her talent? I mean, again, the performances from both of them, from everybody, Lucinda Storyteller to Paige Marie. I mean, just the performances, I couldn't ask for anybody better on any of them.
Yeah, that is very true. Now, your previous film was Invisible Lives. How
Yep.
does that compare in production to Midnight Owls? What are some things that you learned after doing that, and how would you compare them during production, as they were both low budget films? Correct? You didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your budget for each one, if you don't mind?
Okay, so I get that question all the time. And I always ask right back, how much do you think I spent on that movie? So just on Midnight Owls, how much do you think I spent? You've seen the movie. How much do you think, just off the top of your head, how much do you think I spent?
Because you have to pay people. I'm sure they're not gonna just come for free.
Without going over like Price is Right?
Yeah, Price is Right. Probably,
So I will
probably
say
1,500 to $3,000, no more than $3,000.
okay. So I've gotten everything. I've had people tell me 5,000. I've had people tell me 10,000. I've had people tell me 20,000. So with my team, we're trying to make something. We're as a team, we are trying to move forward our production company and our movie. So everybody has volunteered their time for me. And like I said, I am so grateful and humbled by their graciousness to actually just share my vision with me and just be so excited about and just love doing it with me. They're like, if we make money, we make money. If we don't, we don't. It was about the experience for them and to bring them aboard. And that's why I'm so grateful above and beyond. So so the actual retail price, and this is no joke. And this is why I say that if you're a filmmaker, there's no reason why you should not be filming. I spent $14 on Midnight Owls. I spent $14.
$14. Wow.
And on Visible Lives, which is 44 minutes, I spent $40. And Visible Lies was, yes, was 9 months of an actual nightmare. And I did learn so much. And again, this is why I think Midnight Owls rolled so smoothly, because I
Mhm.
learned, and
You
I was like,
learn.
okay, I am not making these mistakes again. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. This is how we're going to do it. And
So you're
honestly,
pretty much $1 a minute.
$1 a minute, yes.
$1 a minute. Wow. Yeah, that's true.
You know,
If
and
you
again, people are like, how in the world did you? And again,
collaborators.
because with them, and I explain to them,
Yeah.
I write my movies like books. A book gives you a few lines, and it's up to you to make your imagination. It's up to you to make the scene. You get your few lines, and that's what I give you. I give you a few lines. I give you some sound effects. But when people get killed in my movies, will we seeing gore? No, because you know what? I can't afford the gore. Do I love to have the gore? Of course I would. But again, how many times how how many times have people seen heads get cut off or arms get cut off, or slit your throat? It's all the time, and we're so numb to it. It just doesn't matter. But if you
Yeah, and
imply it,
and I'd prefer to see it done like you did in a dark alley where you can't really see much versus trying to show all the blood and gore and then not having the funding to do it right.
Mhm.
So
absolutely,
I
and I did,
appreciate that.
yeah, and I did not want my movie to come off, like
Yeah. Leave
cheesy
it to
or
the
anything like that.
Yeah.
Like
Leave it to our imagination to fill in the blanks for the blood and gore.
absolutely
We often have more fucked up minds than
right,
what
and,
a budget can do, you know.
and that's
So
that's what made all those old movies work, those old Universal movies work,
yeah,
because it was up to you,
they
and
left
I
it to
wrote to my
you.
strength, and I wrote to my $14 budget.
That's true. So you said that you learned stuff from Visible Lives, and you took that to Midnight Owls. What is the biggest lesson that you learned?
To be to plan everything down to the detail. When it comes down to the script, when it comes down to shooting a day, it took 9 months for me to shoot Visible Lies, because it was so fragmented and it was so discombobulated. It was two of us writing it, so it just took a long time, and we had to have this time for this and time for that. And when I came to this production, and I came to everybody, I'm like, this is how this is gonna, this is how I need this to roll. We're going to have a shooting day, and we literally shot all the bulk of Midnight Owls in the morning, and then we literally turned right around and then shot in the afternoon the beginning of the second of another movie we're actually going to be doing in the spring, called Lucinda Lives Matter, who actually the mother in the movie in Midnight Owls is actually playing is Lucinda, storyteller. And it's going to be a story about her life. It's going to be a comedy. So we literally shot in the morning because it was scheduled, and we knew exactly what time, we knew exactly what we were going to do. I had my storyboard, because I mean, I am my production, I am my crew. I'm the one shooting it, I'm the one writing it, I'm the one directing it. So it was just me and my two actors. There was three of us in this church, and so being able to plan that out and know exactly, and storyboard, show them, this is what we're going to do, this is how I need you to move, this is how it goes, boom, set it to the side, action, and it's just like boom. And that's the biggest thing I learned, because doing reshoots and like, I'm not satisfied with this, and I'm not, and it just took forever. And planning it is what made it work, made it work so much better and flow so much more easily.
Oh, that's great feedback for anybody that is interested in filming anything, you
Yes,
guys. Planning.
yeah, plan, script,
Yep.
storyboard. Even if it's stick figures, people, storyboard. And I have like 5 pages of storyboard with stick figures.
I
This
was
is
just
like,
gonna ask you, can you draw? Because I can't. So yeah,
I,
if they
I
if
am an
they get the picture, huh?
yeah, I'm actually an artist, but I'm not doing full on like artistry on anything. Like, here's a stick
Mm.
figure. This is how I need you to move. This is how we're blocking it. This is where you stand. On this line, you go this way, you go that way. And again, you know, being first time actors, I couldn't ask for anything better, because they were just like, okay, yes, you
We'll do.
know.
Mhm.
So it made it a lot easier.
That's great to hear.
So are you self-taught, Nigel? Did you teach yourself everything? Did you go to any
I,
school or?
so I have never been to school for this, but I've been doing this. I'm turned 54, and I have been a photographer. I know you guys are younger, but if you guys remember Betamax, if you guys ever heard of Betamax, Christ, I'm old.
I have.
Yeah, so Betamax. So so I used to have these big cameras, Betamax, little tape, big thing, VHS. So I went through all the stages because I mean it was I went to remember 8 tracks to albums to CDs back to albums back to CDs. So the progression. I've always been into it, but I've never serious enough for myself. And then I had to take a break from my life basically because I'm a single dad. So I have my daughter Paige Marie, who I actually killed in the movie. She I've had her since 4 hours after she was born. So I was doing all this stuff beforehand. I was touring. I was doing stand-up comedy. I was doing improv, and I found out that I was going to have, a daughter. And I'm like, me and the mother, me and her mother were not going to be together. And I was like, so I was like, I will, this is my blood. It's my responsibility. I stopped my life completely and had this amazing daughter. And so obviously, I had to get the full-time jobs, insurance, and, basically cut off everything, but it was just the most amazing thing to be dad. And, to this day, I absolutely love being dad. She's 21 now, but we're best of friends. She's amazing. Um, so I had to take that break. And then I was married. Such a bad place in my marriage, and I was just, and it's a whole long story. But what turned for me was that I was actually going to work. I'm absolutely miserable. I'm like over 100 pounds heavier than I am now. I was just slothing around, just terrible. No imagination, no artistic creativity, just miserable. And I got into a crash. I hit black ice on the highway. Yes, people, it is real. Black ice is real.
Mhm.
And I literally, I should not be here. I should be dead. There's no way. I literally had a semi slam into me and crush me into the wall. I mean, it was absolutely brutal. But I walked away, not a scratch. And from that point on, I was like, you know what? That's the sign. I got divorced. I lost 150 pounds. I started back up. My daughter, getting older, I was able to, incorporate, have her, help and she was able to be a little bit more on her own and stuff like that. So I was able to go out and start creating again and start getting my artistic, feel back. And I had met a group of people that were phenomenal, that embraced me and were able to help me cultivate myself and bring myself back to who I used to be before, my daughter was born. And I was able to do that. And so I just, from that point on, I just don't stop. I mean, I've had 3 heart attacks. I'm 54. I'm on borrowed time. I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and that is literally my philosophy. Is that I don't let anything get in my way. I'm gonna live my dream. I'm gonna live my life, and nobody's gonna get in my way, and that's what I do, and that's where I'm at. That's a whole long ramble. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh no, it is the things in life that happen to us that make us who we are, an artist, and it's good to hear, that you've survived and your tale is so awe-inspiring. I kind of feel, now, oh wow, what am I gonna do? Should I film something? Should I go take photographs of birds and cool
but, but
shit?
that
Or
But that's the thing. That's the thing. I've told my team, anybody I meet, it's, what are you waiting for? I did a Q&A. We had the Midnight Owls from the ACYL in Chicago. We had the premiere, and I was able to do a Q&A. The questions like, why do you do this? And because I can. I woke up in one morning. I'm like, you know what? I've always wanted to make a movie, and I've made shorts and I made little music videos. And I did all this little stuff and I was just like, you know what? I need to do this. And I literally got the equipment. I started doing commercials. I did social media. I did a YouTube show, Night Living Jam. So I started doing all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I got to try to shoot this movie. And Visible Lies was I was just like, I had an idea of what it was, and I wrote an outline, and I'm like, let's start shooting it. what am I waiting for? You know, it's not going to come to me. You have to go to it. You know, nobody's going to serve you activity on a platter. It's up to you. And I tell anybody and everybody, do not wait. Don't wait. If you have an idea, act on it. Do what you got to do. Make yourself happy. Because if you can't make yourself happy, you know, you can't make anybody else happy.
Absolutely.
Again, long ramble.
Words to live by.
Words to live by. Thank you, Nigel.
Okay, so words of wisdom, Lloyd. Words of wisdom. Where's that from? Words of wisdom, Lloyd.
I don't remember.
Okay, The Shining.
The Shining. Yeah.
Yes.
He says that's what the bartender. That's what Lloyd says. That's what Jack says to Lloyd. You know, words
So what
of
are
wisdom.
some of your horror influences, Nigel, besides Kubrick?
Okay. So I'm a huge David Lynch fan. I cry every day I know that man is gone. And same thing with Ozzy. I mean, and Kubrick. I mean, just absolute amazing people, entertainers. David Lynch, just absolutely huge influence. Hunter Thompson is another huge influence. I got Gonzo on my arm. So
Nice.
But what I like, and a lot of stuff, so I grew up in a different age. So things were a lot different back when I was growing up in the 70s and in the early 80s. And so this is another story. It's a different time. And I was put in punishment for whatever I did. And I was put in this room, I was locked in this room. And I was shown this movie. And I was told that this person in this movie will come after me if I don't straighten up. And I was locked in this room and I had to watch this movie. And the movie was actually called Maniac. It's the original 1980 Maniac with Joe Spinell. And if you've never seen it, it is definitely, it's a huge influence. You'll be able to see the actual influence from it right off the bat. So I was forced to watch this movie and it terrified me. It just terrified me. To this day, I cannot go near mannequins on a regular. Like if I get around a mannequin, I'm like, okay, I just got to walk away. It was such an imprint on me watching this movie. But, you know, and I don't want to, you know, if anybody out there in horror land, go check out. There was a remake with Elijah Wood, Maniac. And it's all shot POV, which is really good. But the original 1980 Maniac is the quintessential slasher movie that just, to me, just tops everything. It tops Halloween. It tops Friday the 13th, Nightmare.
I agree.
This character, Frank Zito.
It's creepy. He's creepy and crazy. And
So you've seen it then, right?
Yes.
So
The original and the newer.
So like I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old watching that movie, locked in a room, no lights or anything, just focusing on the little 13-inch color TV with the VHS tape of this. And it's funny because I actually still have that VHS tape, and it's sitting right over here in my collection. I actually have that tape from that moment. And but yeah, so that was a huge influence when it comes to horror. But again, you know, shooting something straightforward. I mean, I love the Midnight movie. I mean, El Topo, Rocky Horror. I mean, Eraserhead. I mean, I love the Midnight movie. And I don't want to create a film. I want to create an experience. I want to draw you in. I want you to feel, you know, so again, when you talk about camera angles and stuff like that, I want you to feel like you're in that dream with him, you know, because again, you know, straight shots, they're good. There's place for them. There's, you know, I have straight shots in there, but again, you know, move that camera around, you know, don't be afraid to move that camera because again, the more you move it, you know, the more interesting it is.
So you said you have this set up as a trilogy, right, Nigel?
Yes, this will be a trilogy. We're going to be shooting Midnight House 2 the first weekend of November, according to my producer. I actually have a producer now. I didn't have a producer in my first one. I actually have, you know, after my premiere in Chicago, people are like, oh, this guy's got some stuff going on. So we need to start talking with him. So I'm like, I have a producer. I don't have to do that job anymore. But yeah, we're going to be shooting that. And then the third one will probably be sometime probably in spring or summer next spring or summer. But yeah, there's definitely a full-on story, and if you notice that you watch the movie, it's a cliffhanger, and the second one will be a cliffhanger, obviously, and then we'll wrap it all up in the third one. Make you wait for it, right?
Oh, gotta wait for the good stuff all the time. Now you mentioned you liked David Lynch,
Yeah.
so I would love to sit down with you one of these days. Have you come back on the show and do a deep dive of Lost Highway, because that movie still, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? It's just like a fever dream to me, and I want
So
to definitely sit down and speak with a filmmaker that enjoys David Lynch's work so we can actually dissect it a little more, because it's one of
oh,
those for me that I always want to get right into it. It just has never happened. So that'll be
For
that'll
me,
be
it's Mulholland Drive.
Oh, really?
so have you guys seen Inland Empire? That was his last work. Which was literally shot digitally. If you guys have not seen Inland Empire,
I
that is
haven't seen that yet.
yeah, that's about 3.5 hours of just pure utter madness.
Wow.
That is him at his most unhinged, and it's amazing. But yeah, I've been a huge fan of his because I like his idea. I live by his idea of as a filmmaker, you have ideas, and he equates it to fishing. If you ever been fishing, you're waiting for something to grab that hook. And the same thing with ideas. You have a river of ideas, and you have your hook in there, and that's how he equates it. And that's literally how I came up with a lot of the stuff. It's through that process of just letting this river of ideas flow in front of me, and then throwing my, pulling. I'm like lining and just, waiting for that one idea to hook, pull it in. Okay, here's the idea. Now grow it. Now work it. Now cultivate it and make it more. And again, this was the magic of David Lynch, and his philosophy of filmmaking. And again, if you guys have seen any of the Twin Peaks, have you guys have seen any of the Twin Peaks stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So Fire Walk with Me is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and Fear, Fire Walk with Me are basically my two favorite movies of all time. So and then Requiem for a Dream too. Yeah, Requiem for a Dream too. It's just absolutely amazing.
I know.
Movie.
I love that movie, but it's one of those that you can't watch very much because it affects you. Like
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange. Like I love that movie,
Ooh.
but it's not like I'm never like, I'm in the mood for Clockwork Orange. Like, no.
Yes.
I actually just watched Clockwork Orange and Requiem for a Dream probably like last month. Just like because I was like, I'm bored. Let's go back to the classics. Let's get
Yeah.
sad for a while. Let's get sad and depressed for a while.
I agree with you, Kat. I would watch Clockwork Orange if I'm doing it for like a movie class, or if I'm trying to take notes on something for something that we're doing on the podcast, or just something else. But this is my comfort movie. I'm definitely going to throw it on in the background. No.
But again, that was the genius of Kubrick.
Yeah.
Is that he made you feel uncomfortable. And if you watch his movies, that is kind of his thing. Even if like Full Metal Jacket, it's an uncomfortable movie to watch because of
That's the other one that I love, but
it's uncomfortable.
So, the Shining, he's a homicidal maniac, trying to kill his family. It's very dark, and the way he shoots it, and the slow burn that is, and the same thing with Clockwork Orange. Alex, the transformation between the violent Alex and his droogs to the end, where he's trying to get redemption, and then he's denied it, because of what he did before, and then at the end he's still like, you know what, I get to be who I was. I won, and that's the most evil part of that movie.
And Malcolm McDowell's such an amazing actor. You actually feel bad for him at the end.
but at the end, though, if you read the book, there's a whole other thing at the end. But at the end, he's actually restored to the way he was before. That's the way I always took the end of that movie, because he's celebrating. You hear the celebrating music, and he's celebrating because he actually gets to be back to who he was before the Ludovico, technique took over and everything.
I guess I need to read the book. I haven't read the book.
Yeah, so there's a whole scene after that. After that, very good book. Very good book. Hard to read, kind of like Robert Lewis, like Alice in Wonderland, slang and the way to read it. But it's amazing books, both of those. Love Alice in Wonderland.
So I know you mentioned a little bit about what to expect, part 2 and 3. Um, and you spoke a little bit about filming schedules and stuff like that. Now, everybody that has a burning desire in our hands and to want to get on top of it, when do you expect that to be published and out to the masses for the second one?
I'm thinking I want to do kind of like a I don't think I thought that far ahead on it. Um, Actually, I probably want to try to get it out. Because I mean, I want the first one to sit for a while. So probably early spring. Probably when the weather first starts breaking. I kind of want it to be cold because this is gonna be kind of shot in a little bit of a colder atmosphere. Because of what's gonna happen. Uh, so I definitely kind of want to,
Gotcha.
have a little bit of the cold still, a little bit of nip in the air still. Um, but yeah, I think that's, roughly where I'm looking at. It could be a little bit sooner. It kind of depends. Because again, on the sequel, I now have a producer. I have other people that are now coming in, little, slowly, little by little. So it's kind of production schedules. I know what I want because I've always been in charge, of all that. But now I'm kind of actually giving that up to the producer, like, hey, I need you to take over some of this stuff. So we want to go after some money, Indigo, some, stuff like that. But not, I don't want to go after Indiegogo or anything like that for money for the movie. I'll fund the movie myself because I always will take final cut. I don't care what that entails. I actually had to cut a movie project from somebody else because they wouldn't give me final cut, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out. If I don't have final cut, I'm not interested. So yeah, that's yeah. Hopefully, I answered the question on that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So, you just there's a lot of moving pieces to filmmaking, and it sounds like you're working very hard and diligently to make sure that you have a good final product for us. So we will be sitting here waiting with much anticipation for everything that you are setting yourself up for, which we cannot wait to see.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's exciting to know that the story is going to be able to progress, and it's gotten such a warm reception through the crowd, through everybody that has seen it. And people, it seems like people that have watched it are like, wow, this is going to be really cool, and they've shared it. So it's gotten around the country. And again, I do a lot of networking events in Chicago. So, I actually kind of recognize it now. I'm like, oh, there's that guy, you know, and, that guy does that. And, so it's a process, but it's a process that I absolutely love because, again,
Awesome.
I'm doing something that I want to do. I'm living that dream. Is it bringing me millions of dollars? Not at this point. But you know what? The satisfaction of just talking with you guys. I'm so humbled by you guys just talking to me, and taking an interest in it. You guys watched my movie. I appreciate that, and I don't ever want to lose that when it comes down to if I ever do become anywhere, go anywhere. I mean, I never want to lose that humble where
Mhm.
I just love that.
And
I just
that's
love.
why we do what we do. We're looking for fresh ideas, and that's how we get them,
Absolutely,
by supporting our independent authors,
Hmm.
our artists as well. um,
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Nigel. It has been such a pleasure chatting with you today. Luna, did you have anything else for Nigel that you wanted to ask?
Before we go segue to next week, and talking about film festival, Nigel, are you bringing any of your movies to any film festivals soon?
So I actually I have a short film best film festival that's going on this coming Sunday in Chicago through one of the
Ooh.
networking events. I actually do have it out, but you know how it goes. You get on Film Freeway, you pay your money, you gotta wait. You
Mhm.
gotta wait for their
Yeah.
deadline. So it's out there right now. And it's out there on YouTube on that David Productions. So if people can watch it. I don't, I'm not trying to hide. It's also going to be on the ACYL, which is Any Color You Like. It's their platform, which they're a worldwide distributor. It's also on Versus Media, which is a channel on Apple TV. So it is out there, and I'm just basically waiting for you just do the waiting game.
Right.
And but again, I'm happy with where I'm at with it. Um, Again, everybody's, your viewers, probably go and watch the movie because they want to know, what's it about. And I think that's just an amazing thing. That just through just us talking, there could be a bunch of people that go and watch this movie and I become a fan, or they can hate it too. You never know. I mean, either or, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
The independent scene is alive and well. And I love thriving in it, and it's amazing. And all the people that are out there doing it, just do it. Don't wait, just do it. Just do it.
You heard
Just
it, guys, from Nigel here. Just do it. All
Just
right.
do it.
Whatever you're
Nothing to
thinking,
lose.
whatever's cooking around in that head of yours, just get it out there. Give birth already. You got to give birth to it. You got to get it out. Feed it to the world. We need it. All right. And we're so excited that we're going to be hosting the Spooky Empire Horror Film Festival. So maybe we can see hopefully Nigel's we can see there as well, and some other amazing film creators.
Send me the details on that. Send me all the details on that. I'll get that into that.
Absolutely. So next week, our next show, which is same time, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, guys, come here and join us. Like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. So next week, we'll be speaking with the festival producers, which is Aaliyah, Brendan, Will, and Nathaniel. They're from NU Films, Real Dreams and You. And at the festival, which is going to be Halloween, is the first day, actual Halloween. So the 31st, and then November 1st and November 2nd, we're going to be there giving out. We made some goodie bags for you guys with earrings or keychains, and also we're doing raffle tickets for a one of our awesome "What's in the Box" mystery boxes that may or may not include Gwyneth Paltrow's head. You got to find out, and
Wow.
you'll be able to enter that raffle just by signing up for our mailing list that we've yet to create, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, guys. I'm gonna make that mailing list.
There it is. I'm not gonna wait. It's gonna happen
Exactly.
right now.
Don't wait. Just do it.
Just
Like
do
like
it.
me and Luna, when we jumped into this, we didn't know what we were doing, did we, Luna?
No, we've had to pivot.
We've
Oh
evolved.
shit, this doesn't work. Let's do this. Oh wait, what the hell? Why does this person want to charge me $50 a month? Let's just do this. It's free. It's
Look
just
at you guys now.
yeah, you just have to find apps and things that work because not everything is going to charge you $50 a month or crazy fees, and you just have to dip your feet in and go. And if something doesn't work with your budget or something, change it. But as you go, you change shit up.
Yeah, live the dream. Live the dream. Whichever way it comes to you, whichever way that path is laid in front of you, just say yes. And I guarantee it's gonna work out.
And I'm so glad we met you, Nigel. We've met so many awesome people in the horror industry, and that's another thing too. Networking, getting to know people. Nigel here's got so many people to act in his movies for nothing. People just want to do what they can do to help out.
Well, I do want to pay them. So when we make money, I don't care if I get paid because I'm just doing it because I love it. I want to get them paid. I want to obviously, and I think it's gonna happen. Like that. So, but I just, again, my team. If I can just do a quick shout out to my team. I thank you guys so much, Rob, Adam, Brian, Nora, Lucinda, Paige. I mean, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, and again, that's another tip for you guys, filmmakers. Thank your people. Keep them informed. Thank them because they are going to help you create your vision. And they'll sacrifice themselves for you if you treat them right. You just tell them thank you because just thank you. Thank you to them, to my team. Just thank you so much. And thank you guys, Catlin, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, Nigel. Let us know when we want to collab again. We were definitely gonna be hoping for that, and maybe you can give us a tour while you're filming of like props and
Yeah,
makeup and a lot of cool shit. We have never had that on the show, so we definitely
Yeah.
love a live tour of a production
And
happening.
I'm a big Savini fan, so I'm a little crafty. I can do some special effects makeup.
I met Tom Savini in Cleveland, Ohio, at a horror convention. I was standing next to him at the urinal, and I'm pissing, and Tom Savini walks up. Now at that point, what do you think? Tom Savini standing right next to you. I was like, you know what? Hey Tom, what's going on? How you doing?
Oh no!
How's it hanging?
And he just looked at me like, hey, what's going on with that? Because he did the makeup on Maniac. He did.
Yes,
yeah, he did.
Amazing.
He did the
He was in Maniac as well, wasn't he? He was
the head explosion.
the disco boy. He did the disco boy. Yeah.
That was him actually doing acting, and he had a prosthetic head of himself, of his head, and he used that, and he's actually the one in the movie that gets up and does the shotgun and blows his own head off. Can you imagine that? You're actually getting up and then you're looking at yourself and you're shooting yourself with a shotgun, and you know this whole and again the best head blowing up scene.
Yes, still to this day.
Scanners, okay, whatever. Yeah, go see Maniac. That's a head explosion right there. That's a real.
Yes.
Yeah, I met him. I met him in Cleveland, and he was such a nice guy. And I met him later on in the hall and talked with him about it.
And he's going to be in Spooky Empire, guys.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
You should ask him if he remembers the guy he met in Cleveland at the urinal.
At the urinal. Oh my god. Hey, so that guy sends you his regards. What are the odds? We see him at the urinal and tell him, hey, since we're at the urinal, let me tell you about the time a guy in Cleveland talked to you at the urinal. Remember that? How awkward would that be?
I mean, yeah, he's such a great guy. And just amazing talent. Oh my God.
He's really sweet.
Yeah, real nice guy. So hope to meet him one day again.
Well, thank you so much, Nigel, and we'll see you guys next week at the same time, 10 p.m. Eastern, where we will bring you, we will discuss all things horror convention and film festivals, what's required. And, there's a lot of requirements and a lot of things that they look for. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what it's like to work at a film festival.
Yeah, make sure you guys send me that details. So I'd love to get in on that.
We will go ahead and email it to you.
I appreciate it very, very much.
And let's show Nigel how we say goodbye here at Delight and Fright.
Cthulhu, goodbye.
Yes, the tentacles.
The tentacles.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I love it. Gotta love Lovecraft. Gotta love the Lovecraft.
Yes.
Bye, everybody. See you guys next week.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Cat, a podcast for outcasts.